All right, I'm guessing if you have some frustrations in your relationship or have had frustrations in a relationship around the area of connection and intimacy, then most likely it's because you have some erroneous or misguided beliefs around this idea of intimacy capacity. So here's the deal. Our behaviors, our expectations in relationship are all driven by our beliefs about relationships. So if you have wrong beliefs, it's going to drive wrong or unrealistic expectations, and you're going to find frustration when trying to connect in a relationship. So if you feel like, man, we're not as connected as I wish we are, or you feel like the other person's sending mixed signals on one day they want to be connected, the other day they don't want to be connected, it's probably because one or both of you have bought into a lie when it comes to intimacy capacity that I want to address in this video. Before I address that lie, if you want a free guide to intimacy, you'll see a link in the description area below. If you like the content here, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell notification. So here's the lie when it comes to intimacy capacity in a relationship. The lie is this: everyone has the same capacity and interest in intimacy. And when we believe that, we proceed and pursue relationships and get frustrated because that is not reality. And here's the problem. It has been driven and pounded into our heads by romance movies, by one-liners that we think are so cute and cliche and great. So you think about movies, Jack Nicholson saying, "You make me want to be a better man." Yeah, that sounds great, but you make me want to be, and whether or not I'm going to be a different man may be two completely different things. So you get that romantic one-liner that makes you feel so good about yourself when the other person says, "I've never felt like this about anybody before." The implication is, because I feel different about you, I'm not going to behave the way relationally I used to in the past. And that makes us feel good because we feel like we're so amazing that we will get something out of a person that nobody else has gotten out of them, right? The fact that you did not have character and integrity in your past relationships was solely because you didn't care about them as much as you care about me. It had nothing to do with the fact that you lack character and integrity. And then we can actually tend to believe the fact that we can love and serve and treat a person in such a way that we will get a different version of this person than anybody has ever gotten before. And that sounds fantastic. It's just not true 99.9% of the time. Now, I do believe that you may be able to, if you are a healthy individual, may be able to create an atmosphere in a relationship where somebody has not been treated well in the past, they have not been cared for, they have not been in a relationship with somebody who has the ability to be selfless and love and care for them, and you might be able to provide an atmosphere where the person can change, but it doesn't mean they actually have the capacity to or even desire to change in the relationship. But when we believe this lie, that we all have the same capacity for intimacy, we get frustrated when the other person is not responding in the way that we believe that they should respond when it comes to our intimacy in the relationship. So listen, if you want to avoid some frustration, you need to understand and have the knowledge to know that everybody has a different capacity and interest for intimacy in that relationship, whether you're dating or married. So for the dating people, when you understand that not everybody has the same capacity or desire, that can now allow you to approach relationships and know that you need to look for people. A potential partner needs to have the same desire capacity for closeness and intimacy that you do, so that you're not frustrated by trying to get something out of them that they either are unwilling or don't want to give to you in the relationship. For instance, if you desire closeness and intimacy, you need to find a partner who is comfortable with what you desire or has the same desire. Do not, at all costs, look for somebody or be in a relationship with somebody who has a different capacity to you, that's not willing to meet you where you're at and avoids, like the plague, the level of intimacy and desire that you want to. If you're married, Listen, you and your spouse need to figure out how to manage these differences. I've done a video. You can check that out on resolvable versus unresolvable differences in marriage. I would say intimacy capacity is one of those unresolvable issues where you are not going to get the other person to become like you overnight. The goal is we've got to understand our differences and our different needs, and we've got to be willing to step towards each other and accommodate and value our differences. For instance, if you have less capacity for intimacy than your spouse desires, you will have to learn to step into their desires, to step above your own desires in these areas. And at the same time, you will have to be clear with them on what you desire, your need for independence, your need for distance at times. If you're a higher desire capacity spouse, then what you need to understand is that you need to give your spouse independence, give them some level of distance. You also need to be clear about your needs so they can step towards you, but you need not see their desire for independence or distance as some attack on you or the relationship. It doesn't mean the relationship is in jeopardy. It means they have different capacities than you. So when we believe this lie that we all have the same capacities, we will get stuck in a cycle of fighting for the connection that we desire in the relationship while the other person fights for the distance or a difference in connection, and you get stuck in this repetitive pattern. Now, I know some of you who are dating, what you're going to say is, well, this person may not be there yet, but I think they got potential and I think they can maybe grow to do this. Now, I need you to remember something. It may be possible that they can grow in their intimacy capacity and desire, but it's not a guarantee. And you need to remember the truth that I've said many times before. What's good in dating doesn't always last in marriage, and what's bad often gets worse. Let me say that again. What's good doesn't always last, and what's bad often gets worse. Right now, they are putting the highest amount of effort and the best foot forward. And if they don't have that capacity or desire, basically right now, they're doing the things they need to do to perform in their relationship, but it takes effort. And when you get married, this probably won't keep up. And some of the things you don't like will often get worse. And so you need to understand you got to be fine with where they are now, not fine with sort of okay now, but we really want to grow and be better in a relationship, because that may not happen. Instead, find somebody has the same desire and capacity that you do for closeness and intimacy, so that you don't spend the bulk of your relationship fighting in this area. So here's the lie. We all have the same capacity for intimacy. Here's the truth. We have differences in capacity and desire for intimacy in a relationship. And if you're dating, you want to find someone that's similar in this area. If you're married and you're different, you need to learn how to close the gaps in this area by valuing what the other person needs and desires and stepping towards them in this area so the gap is smaller, which means conflict around this area will be less. Love to hear your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Has believing this lie caused you to try to get something out of somebody that they don't have the capacity or are unwilling to give you? How have you found this to work in your relationship? Drop a comment. Let's talk about it. If we can walk with you in any area of your relationship, dating or married, check out all the resources in the description area below. Till next time, I'll see you right back here on Relation Shots.